Hey everyone, this is Austin Schur here with We Write About Music, and today I am so happy to be back on again with Wildcat Hawkins. In his normal fashion, he is just cranking out music, one song or album after the other. He's got a new one out. It is called Handshake Deal. I'm super excited to talk to him all about it, and thank you for being here. How are you doing? How's your day been?
Oh, it's been a slow one, but working up to talking about this song with you, Austin, and it's been good.
It feels like, well, we talked like a few weeks ago, and you had just released a literal full length album, and nothing can stop you from releasing more music. I know there's obviously a story behind this one, but it feels like there's no lack of creativity. We're gonna get into it like we normally do, but before we do that, how do you like keep going? Because so many people hit these mental roadblocks that stop them from making new music, and it feels like there's too much going on here.
Well, in the case of this song Handshake Deal, I want to share it first because it's the first song from my next album, which will be
Amazing.
it's a companion album for 33 keys.
Sure, sure.
So there were songs that were sitting in the can that I didn't mention when you asked me about it.
Got it.
I just get distracted when I'm talking.
Yeah.
So
That
that's about
totally makes sense.
that's half of what it was were the songs that some of them were recorded right after I got figured out I had Tourette syndrome. I sat down on this piano and it seemed to me like suddenly that was what I referred to when I said it was as if I had leveled up, so to speak. It
Amazing.
was like I had a different understanding of my body and I was less judgmental of it. And
Right.
suddenly I could play better.
Yeah, well, I feel like you probably, passed on those mental blocks that I was mentioning. Once you realize that there may be potentially something wrong, maybe it helped you work through it in a way.
The music must have helped me.
Yeah.
It's a therapeutic process for me to make music. But what I did to finish this album, Multiple Rabbits, Multiple Hats, was this. I said to myself, I think if I go to that piano when nobody's home and no dog is there, even, that
Right.
if I get into a flow state on a Saturday afternoon, that in about an hour and a half, I could finish that album. And I could find the music that was in my
Yeah.
subconscious that I didn't know the album needed, but I could find it. And that's what happened, actually.
That's seriously incredible because obviously 33 Keys just came out. It's still fresh in my mind. It's still fresh in everyone's, but I mean, the thing that I love about your music is that it never stops. You're always creating new things. And obviously the main thing of this song is that it's another improv piece. That's correct?
This is something I've never done before, which is create a freestyled song that was as if it were a freestyle rap. So the only thing that was in my head for words was this idea that I wanted to create a song with some singing in it, and so I figured this would be like this collection's equivalent of Point of Light or Silent Partner. This will be that one with the singing,
Yeah.
and I want it to be called Handshake Deal. I was picturing to myself like when you die and you're up in the clouds, it's a handshake deal. That's how it is in the temple, and that's how it is with some esoterica. And I thought, geez,
Sure.
that's kind of like a something that I think of in my subconscious. So I sat down to the piano with two chords that I liked in that framework in my head. But what I ended up singing about was my own divorce and kind of getting into the idea that I'm in the middle of an acceptance and commitment therapy process where
Right.
I need to think about what's on my tombstone a lot because I haven't really known who I was since I was a third grader,
Sure.
actually. And on the first day of fourth grade, I showed up not just with new shoes, but I had CPTSD by then. So
Mhm.
I had become a bully suddenly, and I'm ashamed to say that, but that's the truth.
No, I mean,
And
I understand. Listen, that was a long time ago, but people change. And obviously you've done so much growing, but that growing never stops. And I can't speak for you, but we've sort of touched on it in the past is like the music that you're making and the ideas that you're getting out there lyrically are obviously helping you to become, this better person, learn more about yourself and I suppose get on the right track. Is that correct?
well, the thing about multiple rabbits, multiple hats, aside from the fact that it reminds me of when Radiohead came out with Amnesiac and
Sure.
Kid A, they came from the same sessions of recording, kind of. So
Exactly.
one would be ready to come out soon after.
Right, right.
But
No, yeah, that's one of my favorite 1-2 punches in in music, truly.
Yeah, I mean, half these songs were recorded at the same time, well, prior to a lot of the 33 key stuff, actually. This was the lead up. This was going to be a project that was going to be called Silent Sentinels,
Oh,
but I didn't go forward with it. I couldn't figure it didn't feel right. And
sure.
I think there must have been a reason for that because now when I incorporated those songs into this new reflection of my life, as you were asking me about, it's helping me get into find my authentic self, who I was in third grade before I
Yeah,
changed so much.
I understand. Yeah, long time since then, but obviously you've grown and you're doing your thing. Um, Something I'd really love to know here is like we've touched on your process in the past, and I know that I assume that you just sit at the piano and it just happens. Is that how it works? Like, does it happen like that lyrically, or do you set up separate times for you to write as well?
In the case of Handshake Deal, what I thought was that if I put the same trust in this lyrical process that I put in my music process, which when you talk to some of these people, someone like a Keith Jarrett or someone like that, some deadheads, you will hear people with a Eastern orientation toward music, kind of pseudo, quasi, whatever you want to call it,
Right.
not to offend anyone, but that's how we think of it because of history and tradition.
Sure.
We think of it that way, and we say we listen to music with a whole cloth type of sound almost, where I say to myself, I'm not even going to filter this through the prefrontal cortex of my brain. I'm going to not pay real close attention to it almost, and it'll hit the amygdala part of my brain, the reptile part, straight
Yeah.
up. And then when that happens, it'll be like looking at a magic eye image. If you try and focus on that, you won't see what's there to see. But with my music, like let's say Bleeding All Over the Page, for instance, if you listen to Rough Diamond and you don't really pay attention to it real close, you probably won't think there's anything wrong with the sound quality if it hits the amygdala, most likely,
Okay.
and you don't even judge it. A lot of times it comes across that way to me is that it's like a subconscious thing. But
Sure.
with
No,
this,
no, no. I completely understand.
that's how the sound works. And I'm talking ass backwards again, like I tend to. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. Listen, it's your process as a musician. No one makes music the same way as the other person, and what you're saying is as raw as it gets. So keep talking, please.
That's the thing about it that brings me back around where I should have started instead of going backward with it. But let me put that into context for how I
Sure.
made this song. I said when I was on that walk in the neighborhood where I was remembering my childhood, I spent years not remembering, making sure to stay disassociated from it.
Yeah.
I stopped being disassociated from my youth when I figured out that I was struggling with CPTSD because
Sure.
the first step is to get into it. So I went on a hiking trail and I was remembering things. And I said, you know what? The time has come to get into that flow state because nobody's home. I'm going to go on my mom's piano like I did before.
Sure.
And I think if I make this song the theosophical way, that would be to say I can presume that God can write a song better than I can,
Sure. Sure.
is how I looked at it. So I said, I'll put the same trust in the lyrical process as I do in the whole thing where they say, I even forgot to say this. There are no wrong notes, right?
Oh yeah. When it comes to piano,
There are
absolutely
no
not.
wrong notes. That's what they say. That's what the Keith Jarrett's, that's what the Deadheads sometimes say.
It's true.
There are no wrong notes.
Well, yeah.
So
Well, in
I
your
put that
case,
into the
some of
lyrical
that's
approach.
yeah. Well, you're doing improvisation. The thing is, like, it's never going to be perfect. You play with your heart and soul, and it kind of just flows out of your fingers, and you make this music. So if you strike a wrong note or a wrong key, like you fix it and you reverse course. You know?
The funny thing about that is that what some people believe is that the note that appears to be wrong is sort of like a power that announces itself to you in a sense. And by the time it's been sutured back into the phrase,
Yeah,
as you were referring to, that it's like, oh my God, it's like that happened for a reason. I can see it.
I
My finger,
understand.
my finger didn't even slip. It went where it was meant to go.
Hmm.
There are people that believe that happens. That's kind of like the woo woo of Keith Jarrett, basically, is what that
Sure,
is.
I understand that. Um, Well, if it's okay with you, I do want to talk a little bit more about this record that's going to come out. We don't have to say too much here. Is the rest of it recorded? Are you finished with the other songs? Like, what's the path that you're taking here?
I'm gonna send you a private link to it because I'm done with it now.
Oh, nice. Okay, great. Well, I'm excited to hear that. Um,
I'll send that to you later in a minute. But yeah, basically that was the thing. I kept the lyrical content sparse, like 33 keys.
nice.
It's a lot of piano music, but the interesting thing about this, I think, is that the mood is a little different. I think it's a little bit has more
Sure.
dark tones. Well, not dark. I mean, it's dark on 33 keys, but this one is has a weird kind of moodiness to it. I think that
I understand.
blends in an interesting mix.
Well, that's the thing about making an album from album to album, and it can't all sound the same. I hear what you say when you say it's a companion album and the songs basically come from the same session. But at the same time, there's a reason that you didn't include this song on the past record. You know what I mean? It didn't fit the vibe, it didn't fit the aura. And it sounds like you're going down a different path, which shows growth as a musician.
What I hesitated to say when you asked me about it before, when you asked me about those Hadoukens that I could do it, because
Right.
I have a lightning bolt stuck inside of my body, just
Sure,
about,
sure.
and it drives me nuts.
Yeah.
But when I hang on that chord and then I slam it down, it does almost feel as if there's a power in that. And what I
Yeah.
am doing, in fact, is making sure that I can feel a flow of energy in my body. So I believe in that type of ninja stuff like life force energy, and
Right.
that's kind of what I am, is sort of like a guy that's interested in those kind of ideas.
I understand it. And listen, like your music takes on different shapes and forms. I think because at least this last record was such a nice mix of lyrical songs and instrumentals, it allows the listener to kind of like make up their own ideas. Like they get lost in the music and it gives you the chance to ponder. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. That's what I love about instrumental music, and I find something really charming about the untitled work of Sigur Rós. How there was a vocal
Sure.
present, but there was no word present for you to
Yeah.
add a connotation to. But there was a person there.
Absolutely. No, I'm a huge fan of their music too, and yeah, you don't always need to understand what they're saying in order to get the emotion and feeling of the songs. Have you listened to their new record? It just came out a couple weeks ago.
I haven't listened to that, but I really should. Thanks for
Yeah,
telling me
it's
about that.
no, it's beautiful. I think it's like their first real album in like 7 or 8 years, and I think it's fantastic. Um, I don't know how they made it. I'm sure it wasn't improv like you, but at the same time, they're two completely different pieces of work.
What I feel is that with Sigur Rós, even if they have got the creme de la creme and they're bringing in the arrangers, and Olafur
Sure.
Arnold is there with the boy choir and there's fireworks going off and
Of
stuff.
course.
It's not even that, like, and I'm listening to Ara Batur. It's actually Yonsi just is putting the truth of his spirit into it, I think. And
Yeah.
that's why I think that if he did just pick up a guitar and make something up, it'd hit me right just the same.
No, absolutely. Um, Getting back on track to this record or to this song though, I want to look forward because I know that obviously this record is going to experience another rollout similar to the last one. Can we expect more music coming in the next month or so? I feel like you never stop.
Well, I have the thing about this is like the weirdo thing about talking with you and you having a micro publicist just about and just coming in and getting into the scene is like I found some place that I consider cool for once.
Thank
So
you.
that's somewhere where I would, well, it's a problem I have. So it's because I'm an indie underground type of character completely. Where I fold myself into culture, the where is real important to me.
Sure.
So I just think that there's story to tell, and I got to find out more about who I really am. Like I said, I
Yeah,
actually got about, I think maybe half of the trauma off of my spine and out of my body so far. It feels amazing.
I can imagine. But yeah, when you've been living with that for so long and you can actually rid yourself of it and feel the grief leave, there's almost nothing better.
I didn't know it.
Yeah,
I didn't know a lot of stuff. I was supposedly, maybe I had a chance to become an all-star in the NBA, most likely is what they said about me, but I
sure.
didn't even fucking know it.
Right. Yeah, man, you never
I
know.
didn't even know it, man. I didn't know a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You
It's
make yourself you
yeah.
make yourself forget stuff.
It's true, man. We're all working through something rather or another, and we all have different ways of coping and figuring things out and living our lives. Obviously, we've talked a few times at this point, and you're going through a lot of changes in your life. I know that you're saying that you wanted to move and get out of there, and do different things, and it's like you're finding your way, and there's no right or wrong answers.
So yeah, getting to that, the song I'm going to share next is I love it because it affords me the opportunity to see what I reckon is this. In a couple of weeks, I'll know the answers better. I already figured out I fucking had Tourette syndrome for one thing.
Yeah,
That was good. It's been a little over a year since that. Now it's been helping quite a bit to know that
amazing.
instead of not know it. And then now I figured out. See, when my ex left me, it was kind of like a handshake deal. It was like,
Yeah,
oh, good, I want you gone. And she's like, well, God, neither of us had the strength to say that we didn't want to stick together. That's weird as shit.
yeah, man.
But it but it happens.
It does happen. Listen, everyone experiences breakup at one point or another, and it's tough for both parties, but maybe, you're working through your own things.
Well, what I can say is this. The funny thing is, when we met, I knew that she grew up rough and there was some real serious stuff there that
Sure,
she has to live with. And I just wish her the best and bless her.
of
Hope she's
course.
blessed. But by the time that we split up, she knew something about me that I didn't yet realize, which was that I was traumatized horribly.
Yeah,
And I didn't even know that, which is weird because when I told you I remembered something that one night, but I didn't accept it. What I meant by that was this. If you realize that something happened to you and you remember it for the first time and you were real small when that happened and you kind of the gravity of it occurs
yeah,
to you, there's a math problem in front of you that I just wouldn't do,
I
Austin. I
agree.
wouldn't do it because it's as easy as 2 plus 2 to say that if X happened, then I must have CPTSD.
Sure,
There'd be no way that I wouldn't.
I understand.
So I don't know why I didn't look at it that way right away, but I think it's because of dissociation more likely than not. It was probably like, whoa, I can look at this and say, I can't believe this happened, but it did. And I
Of
guess I
course.
remember it, but I couldn't take it from there to, well, everything that's going on with me that's broken must be because of it.
Right. Yeah, man, you're making a lot of realizations, and that's important. Um, before we start to wrap things up, I want to reach out to you and I want to ask, like, is there anything that I might have missed? Is there any important information about this song that you feel that people need to know before they listen?
What I want them to know is this. I don't really know for sure if it was a spiritual thing. I don't know if it was spoon fed into my mind from a higher power or any ancestor or anything
Yeah,
unusual like that. I just know that it would have had to have come out of my subconscious one way or another, I think. And I think that was more honest than what I was prepared to do because of everything I told you about. And when Perfect Saints will come out, that'll
yeah,
be the opportunity to tell you about the real esoteric stories that
nice.
you know there'll be some stuff to discuss there, and that's a good one. I think that you'll like that one. I hope, and
I'm
then
sure
when
I
I can
will,
come,
man.
you know,
You often share this music that, I mean, obviously you give yourself credit for it, but it's like truly beautiful music, and the fact that it's coming in an improv style makes it that much better. Um, I always look forward to speaking with you and getting the updates and seeing what's going on. Like it makes me feel good too.
I really appreciate you, Austin, and like I said, being a sellout is a huge problem for me because I would look at the culture when I was real small.
Sure.
Heal the world. That was the Super Bowl. I loved it. Tikkun Olam. That's a phrase I actually believe in. I believe Tikkun Olam is what I believe in. I just
Nice.
think there are a lot. I think there are a lot of woke asshats that try and adulterate that and try and lie about what it means. But I think that I still believe in Tikkun Olam. That's just what I
Amazing.
say.
Very cool. Well, I am going to wrap this up and I'm going to plug your music for you one more time here for anyone who might have missed out. If you didn't know, we are speaking with Wildcat Hawkins. The song is called Handshake Deal. And of course, like always, we will have links in our articles that you can listen and share and follow along. And obviously, there's always something new coming. I'm excited for it. It's on the way. And this is your chance to stay tuned for more.
Hey, love you, Austin. Thanks again, bro.
Love you too, bud. All right, I'll talk to you later. Have an amazing rest of your day and speak soon.
Hey, thank you so much, man.
All right, bye bye.
Appreciate it.